Hi and welcome. So in this assignment, we are going to be going back to Google Sheets again, but we're just going to be doing some review examples for this. You notice I am sitting in my car. I am looking for a calf that has got out, so I'm going to sit here and show you guys how to do Google Sheets while I wait for a missing calf. So the first thing you're going to do is on the first tab, on the Welcome tab, you're just going to go ahead and put in your name, your email, your period, class period, and the date. I have already filled in my information for you. Let's see if I can adjust that. And then you're going to go to step 1. So along the bottom is your tabs, and those are your steps. We're just going to be doing some basic things. So on step 1, anything in turquoise is pretty much going to be information for you to read. And typically everything you're going to do would be in yellow. So we're going to go through here. This is a spreadsheet. It can do some pretty cool things, and let's practice. A spreadsheet can organize data. You can try typing things into cells. Also, try making the column widths wider and the row heights taller. So we're going to do that as practice. To do this, it says you're going to hover your mouse in between the letters on the top columns or between the numbers on the left rows. When the arrow changes, you can hold down the mouse to increase the row height or width. And we are going to do this to a couple columns, or at least one column and one row. So up here, I put my mouse, I get the two-headed arrow. I'm going to hold down, if you're using a mouse, you're going to hold down your mouse button. If you're not, I'm going to try and show you guys. There we go. I'm going to click here, and then that's going to change. And that is like holding down my mouse. So then I can drag to make my column wider. There you can see I just did column C. So if I wanted to come down here and pick a row, I put my mouse on there, get the two-headed arrow, then I'm going to click down with this finger, the bottom left corner, and drag, and that will make that row taller. Okay, so we have done that step. Get back adjusted here. So the next thing I want you to do is to try typing in at least 5 different cells. So just any of these blank cells, type anything you want. You can type your name, you can type a color, whatever you want, just type into 5 different cells. And we've already done the row and a column. Then you can go to step 2. On step 2, we are going to name our cells. So every place that there is a box on our spreadsheet, it is called a cell. We're going to type the name for the cell by listing the letter of the column. Columns are listed across the top and they go up and down. And the row, which are listed on the side, and they go across like the rows in a stadium. So we're just going to practice naming them. So if I'm clicked here in this yellow box, I can see that that's a C and a 6. So I'm just going to type C6. Press enter. You should get the word excellent. You guys may not on yours for this cell because it was already done for you. But you're just going to go ahead and do the same thing on all these. Whenever you get the answer right, it should say excellent. If it's wrong, it will probably say try again. Okay, then let's go to step 2. And by the way, guys, you can pause the video. Here would be a great place to pause it. Go ahead and do step 1. Then start your video again when you're ready to do step 2. So step 2. Oh, sorry, that was step 2. Step 3. Okay, in this one, we're going to be doing the formulas. And that is what spreadsheets are great at, is that they will do the math for you. So you don't have to worry about how to do the math, like pulling out your calculator. In order for Excel or Google Sheets to know that you're doing a math problem or an equation, all you have to do is put an equal sign in front of it. So I'm just going to double click to get inside my cell, move to make sure my cursor is at the very front here, and I'm just going to type the equal sign because the equal sign is what tells, oops, I typed plus. The equals, see if I can get this right here, equal sign. The equal sign is what tells a spreadsheet that you're ready to do math. So all I did was type the equal sign here, and you can see that it's already giving me a preview of the answer. Make sure whenever you double click in there, you don't delete what's already there. You're just going to put the equal sign in front. I press enter, and it's going to result with the answer and tell me great job. So I want you to go ahead and do the other two boxes. And then whenever you're done, go to step 4. Okay, here we are on step 4. In this one, we're going to do basically the same thing we just did, except we're going to type the entire formula. So it gives us an example here. In the first box, we're going to write our own formula, and it tells us for an example what to type. Now, whenever you get to these 3, you're going to make up your own numbers, and you can change whether you want to multiply, add, divide, subtract. So I just have to type equal 4 times, the times is an asterisk, and the asterisk is above the 8, so it's shift 8, and then 5 plus 9. So I've got equal 4 times 5 plus 9, equal 4 times 5 plus 9. I press enter, and it's going to give me an answer now. If you are seeing your formula there, you have done something wrong. So make sure that whenever you do it, that you always get an answer in here. And so you're going to make up the numbers and make up your math equation for these. You need to have at least 3 different numbers in your equation. When you are done, you can actually view your formulas instead of viewing the answers. To do that, you're going to go to View, Show Formula, and it's going to show the formula. Oops. And then to turn that off, I'm just going to click anywhere again, and I'm going to go to View and Show Formulas to turn it off. Okay. When you're done with those, go ahead and go to step 5. I don't know where that came from. Okay. All right, on step 5, we're going to this time use cell referencing. Cell referencing is what really makes a spreadsheet magical, because cell referencing means that it doesn't matter what our numbers are. It is just going to look to the cell. So for this example, it's going to say, okay, take B4. What's in B4? That's a 6. And we're going to add that to C4. That's a 2. And then we're going to add that to D4, which is a 9. So the great thing about using cell references is we're just telling the formula where to look for the number that it wants to put into the formula. This is great because later on we can change these numbers and it will automatically update our formulas for us. And then we would get the correct answers. The other way this is great is that if you're doing, like, say, a budget or something like a payroll that you would do every week, you can set your formulas all up one time, and then the next time all you have to do is change your numbers and it's going to change all of your answers for you. So that's how it is so beneficial. So for this one, it says in the yellow cells, we're going to notice the formula referencing these cells. They don't have the equal sign in front of them, so we're going to double click, and we need to put our equal sign in front of that one. I'm going to press enter. Okay, it should give me an answer. Perfect. So you're going to go ahead and do the other 3. Just put the equal sign in front. When you get done, you're going to come up here and you're going to change those 3 numbers. So you can pick whatever number you want. Just going to go with an 8 and a 4 and a 10. And you can see every time I'm doing that, it's changing the answer that's here. Okay. So once you get your formulas done, go ahead and change those numbers and make sure that your answers change with you. Okay, and then you can go to the next step. The lighting's not very good here. I think we're ready for step 6. Okay, step 6 is we're going to merge cells. So remember, to merge cells means you're going to bring, whenever you merge, you bring 2 things into one. So like if you are on a highway and you have 2 lanes and they're going to come to one, that's called merging. So we're going to merge these cells into one big box. To do that, I'm going to highlight the entire yellow area. Oops, I must have bumped it. Click on the first one, go down, and then go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, they're all highlighted now. Then And to highlight, again, let me show you how I did that. I'll start over. So I click in the first cell. I'm going to hold down with my mouse button, or if I'm on my Chromebook, I'm going to use the bottom left corner. I'm going to drag across and then drag all the way down to the bottom to get all those highlighted. Then I can release everything. Okay, then I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to click the Merge Cells button. It's right here. It has the two arrows pointing at each other. Now I have one big box. Get my Chromebook moved back around. Okay. So now it says, once that is done, you're going to type your name. So just type your name into your box. Okay, whenever I press enter, it moves it to the bottom left corner. That's okay. Once you're done, go to step 7. We are moving right along here. So on this one, it says it's important to clearly communicate your ideas. Spreadsheets can help you organize your thoughts and information. One way to do this is to use the borders icon. So we're going to be using the borders to create, like here we have, this is called like a T account or a T chart. You're going to create a single underline under the word height and then under the word width, and then we'll have a single line that goes all the way between them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on height and drag through width. Now I'm using that finger on the left bottom corner again on my pad, and I'm going to come up here to the border button, which looks kind of like a window pane. I'm going to click on it, and I want to click the one with the bottom border. If you wanted to change the style or the color, you could do that over here and then click on it. But we're fine with black, so I'm just going to click. There we go. Next, I want to add a line between them. So I can either highlight the width column or the height column. I'm going to do width. And then I'm going to come back to border. And this time I want to make a left border. Okay, and we're done with that step. We did that one all together. Now let's go to step 8. Okay, for step 8, the text you type does not always fit in the cell. Use the wrapping icon to wrap or unwrap text. By default, the text is in overflow. Overflow means that even though it doesn't fit in the cell, it's going to go all the way over through the other cells unless there's something there. So it's going to overflow across until something stops it. So we're going to choose the middle option to wrap the text. Wrap it means it's going to just wrap above itself, like this up here is wrapped. So we're going to click on this where it says click the cell to select it, then click the text wrap icon to have all the text show in this cell. So the text wrap icon, you can see it looks like this one. So we're just going to come up to it. Hold on a second. Okay, so I was saying we're just clicked here and we're going to come up here and we're looking for this icon. Now this icon might look a little bit different because right here is what I'm looking for. So the way I was able to find that easily was I just kind of started here. So here was my centering button. Okay, that's here. Here is where my vertical line. It just happens to be set on a different default than what the picture below is. And here is my text wrapping. So mine is set for overflow right now. So I click on it and then I can choose the wrap text just like what's shown in the picture down here. So that's what we want is wrap text. That's going to wrap this text. Then I want you to come down to this cell and you're going to use the same button, but this time instead of wrapping text, I want you to use the overflow text. So you're going to change this one to the overflow, and I'll let you guys do that on your own, and I'll see you on the next tab. Okay, so now we're going to look at practice 1A. In practice 1A, it's going to give you some information about speeding tickets in New York and in Massachusetts. And basically, New York's trying to decide if they should change to what Massachusetts has. And so what we're going to be doing is analyzing that data. So that's all there is on 1A is you're just going to read through the information. You will have to come back here and get this because Massachusetts does just do a $100 flat charge on speeding tickets 1 mile per hour to 10 miles per hour over. So if you're just going 1 mile per hour over, it's $10. If you're going 10 miles per hour, or $100. If you're going 10 miles per hour over, it's still $100. But if you're over that, you're going to pay $100 plus $10 for every additional mile that you're over the first 10 miles per hour over. Okay, so like at 11 miles per hour over, you would pay $100 plus then you're going to pay $10 for being 1 mile per hour more than 10 over. Okay, hope that makes sense. So we're going to go to practice 1B, and that's where we're actually going to be doing our work. You can see here that I've done a couple examples for you. So it says we're going to use the information that was in table 2 on the previous tab, and we're going to plot the data points for Massachusetts speeding fines. So to create a table of data points to represent the fines for the number of miles per hour over the speeding limit, starting at 1 through 30. We're going to write formulas to calculate the values of the fines based on the table 2, which is Massachusetts. And I've done a couple for you. You can always look at my formula to see what I did. And if you click here, and then you look up here in the formula bar, you'll see what I typed. So here, I just typed 100 because if you are 1 through 10 miles per hour over, you just pay $100. So you guys can go in here and just type 100 because we know that that's what that is. Okay, once I get down here, I have a formula, but I'm actually going to redo that formula. So I want you guys to do this with me. I'm going to delete that one out. And what we want to do, if we're going 11 miles per hour over, we have to pay $100 plus then 1 times 10 because it's 1 more than 10. Here we would be at $100 plus 2 times 10. But we don't want to have to write different formulas for every cell. So what I'm going to show you how to do, we'll create one formula, which then we can copy down and use the fill handle and only have to do it once. So we're going to start the formula with equal, okay? And I know I'm going to be adding $100. So $100 is where we start, plus. And then we have to remember our order of operations here. So however you write your formula, remember your order of operations, okay? We need to know how much 11 is over 10. So I'm going to put a parenthesis, and I want to take this number. I'm going to click here to use the cell address because it will change all the way down, minus 10. Let's see what that is, okay? And then we want to multiply that by 10. So we're going to start here, check our order of operations. What is this number minus 10? Well, that's going to give us a 1. Next, we wanted to multiply that by 10. So we could put another set of parentheses around here, but we don't have to because order of operations says after parentheses, it's going to multiply. So then it's going to take this formula part times 10. So 1 times 10 is 10. Then it's going to come back and do the addition, which is going to be add to 100. So I'm going to press enter. So your fine is $110. You can then drag that down. So you should see that for every mile per hour over, it's going up another $10. Now let me show you exactly how I did that in case the fill handle confuses you. I'm clicked here on my cell. I put my mouse right here at the bottom right-hand corner and I get a plus sign. Then I'm going to hold down on my mouse button, or if you're on your Chromebook, it is the left bottom corner, and I'm just going to drag all the way down, okay? I'm not going all the way down for you, but you guys can do that. Make sure here you enter a formula. Don't just type the answers because that would be wrong. Okay. Well, I guess I am going to go all the way down because I want to show you how to do the chart. And this 100, let me show you what you could do. See what happens if I fill that down, then I get 100s. Now, if you are working in Excel, it's actually going to start counting those and make it 100, 101, 102, but in Google Sheets, it does not. So we're lucky there. If it did start counting, the way I get around that is I just type 100 twice and then fill it down, and so then it can see what my pattern is. Okay, next part 2, we're going to highlight the table of cells of data in B7, which is here. through C37. So I'm just dragging down to highlight. So I'm getting all my information highlighted. Then I'm going to click on the Insert Chart icon. Okay, so right up here is my Insert Chart icon. You can always go to Insert Chart, either way. Whenever I hit Insert Chart, is it working? There we go. It's just going to give me whatever chart it wants to. Okay, I want you to look at it, and you can pick whichever chart you want to use. Okay, whatever chart you think best represents what the fines are. You could even, if you go down to a pie chart, that's not making a whole lot of sense. Column charts you can kind of see. But I want you guys to pick the best one out of all the different charts that represents this. The other thing I want you to do, you can move your chart to put it out of the way so you can see everything. I'm going to drag mine. To drag it, you just click on it and drag it with your holding down your mouse button. Okay, so I picked the chart that I want. You can double click you can then double click on the axis to edit the maximum and minimum values. So this is the numbers. You have to come down here and you can actually click on these if you wanted to change the maximum and minimum. So we want our minimum to be 1 because that's the least you could be over, and our chart goes up to 30. So we have a 30 here. Okay. And just make sure we got everything else the way we want. And close that. Okay, it doesn't really change anything because that's where we were started at anyway. But I will double check to make sure you guys went in and did that. But that's one way you can change your minimum and maximums along here. You could also do it here. If you wanted to change this word, you can double click on it. For example, I think fine should be capitalized. So I can put fine. And if I wanted to come down here and make my miles per hour all caps, I could do that. Or I could put miles per hour over. I guess it's not really over because, sorry about that, because it is starting at 1. So miles per hour, that capitalized that. I could also come up here to my title, and I'm going to put fine versus, what did they call that? Fine. I'm going to change mine to fine per mile per hour over speed limit. And then I'm just going to put dash and put my name. And I do believe speed limit should be 2 words. Capitalize that. So that's just some things you can do with your chart to dress it up. If you don't like blue, you can actually double click on your blue line, and you can change the color to be a different color if you want. Okay, so lots of things you can do there. Okay, let's go to practice 2. Okay, on practice 2, this is a little bit different. And this is very useful for like a math class. So we're just going to do a few of these just to show you an example of what you're going to do. If you don't have internet at home, you're not going to be able to do this. So if that is referring to you, because I know I have a couple of you who are saving things on jump drives, you're not going to be able to do this. So just watch what I do. Okay, so I want to graph this equation. Now, whenever you are, Google will graph it for you easily. It's very simple, easy to do. You don't have to do all the plotting yourself. I don't know, maybe Mrs. Dotson thinks that's not appropriate, but here I'm going to show you how to do that. So maybe if you are in a math class and you just want to double check your graphing work, you could do it. The equation says y is equal to x squared. Well, you can't type a squared into the Google search bar for the equation. So what you would type is y equals x, and then your caret button, and that is going to get you the equation. Okay, so you're going to type that in, and whenever you type that into Google up here, then it's going to come back with your graph. And all I want you to do then is just screenshot this and paste it somewhere on here. You can click on your screenshot and resize them if you need to, but you're just going to go down through and do these. Okay. Here, referring to the graphs you just inserted, explain how the behavior of the graph changes as you add or subtract values to the y equals x to the second equation. Just go ahead and give me an answer to that, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. This is not a math class, but just looking at it, what do you think the answer would be? Then I want you to do something a little bit different here. You're going to click here to submit the link to this tab. So you'll just click that and it will send it straight to me. And then you're going to go ahead and just hit turn in. And that is all for this week. Please let me know if you have any questions and I would be more than happy to help you.